Hi Chris, I'm Mathis. I'm a student at Boston College Physiotherapy Technology program, and today I'll be making you different movements with your shoulder. I'll be explaining why it's a concentric or eccentric motion. So concentric motion will happen when your movement goes against our force and will shorten the muscle, while an eccentric motion will be when the force is working with you and is extending the group of muscles to do the motion. So we'll have three positions today. We'll have position 1, position 2, do them with me, and position 3. Alright, so for the first one, I'll ask you to go from position 1 and go up to position 2. So as you work against our force, which is gravity, your flexors are shortening, meaning it's a concentric motion of the flexors. Now I'll ask you to stay at 2 and then go to number 1. Now, as our force, which is still gravity, helps you go do this movement, it becomes an eccentric as it extends your flexor group. So it's an eccentric motion of the flexors. Then you'll start at position 3 and go to position 1. Now, when you start at 3 and go to 1, you're getting help from our force, which is still gravity, which means that now it'll be the extensors that are becoming longer, meaning it's eccentric of the extensors. Now we'll use the TheraBand move. So we'll start, turn around, and I'll have you grab it over your head. Can you pull it up? Yeah, arm straight, and then I'll ask you to go all the way horizontal with the floor. So just pull it down to 1. And back up to position 2. So during his movements with the TheraBand, because our TheraBand becomes the force, when he goes to and goes down towards the floor, then he is doing a concentric motion of his extensors. And as he comes back up, and the band helps him do the motion, it becomes eccentric of his extensors. Now we'll do the same thing, but we'll have you supine on the bed, which means I want you to lay down on your back. I'll ask you to have your arm, yes. So this will be position 1, this will be position 2, and this will be position 3. So I'll ask you to go from position 1 to all the way to position 2. Keep going. So I'll ask you to come back. When you go from here all the way to this 90-degree line, you are working against our force of gravity, which means it's a concentric motion of the flexors. But once you pass that 90-degree, gravity starts helping you do your motion, which means it becomes eccentric of the extensors. Bring it back. Now we'll start at 2 and go all the way to position 3.
So while you're lying like this, from here to here, this is the concentric phase of the movement, so the front up, and then from here to here.
All right. So in this motion, once again, first, when you start going up, you're going against the force, which means it's concentric for the extensors. But once you hit that 90-degree line again, and until then it becomes the force working with you, which means it's eccentric of your flexors until you go all the way to 3. Now start at 3 and come back to number 1. So for this last motion, you're starting with the force going against you, which means that your flexors are shortening, which is a concentric motion. That's all. We're done. Thank you, Chris.